Hey guys, let's talk about what I just saw. Well, it's urban legend time. The new Jordan Peele produced and co-written horror film Candyman is out in theaters, and while it wasn't bad, it was a very flawed film nonetheless. The film takes place in 2019 Chicago and follows Anthony McCoy, an aspiring artist who has moved to the neighborhood of Cabrini Green, a former ghetto that has been taken over by gentrification. While looking for inspiration for his work, which just so happens to be inspired by racial injustice, he ends up coming across the local urban legend of an entity called the Candyman, an individual who was the victim of a terrible hate crime in the past, who, legend says, murders anyone who summons him by saying his name 5 times in a mirror. Understandably not taking this legend very seriously, Anthony inadvertently allows Candyman to return, with devastating consequences. Now, here are some of the things that I did like about this film. To its credit, the film does have a stylish look to it, which is good, considering that one of the most memorable things about the original film was its strong visuals. Also, the kills, for the most part, are appropriately really brutal. Additionally, the film's score is appropriately eerie, invoking the sort of ghost story that Candyman is supposed to resemble. Finally, the explanation for the supernatural events occurring, and the social issues at work related to them, to its credit, is somewhat original compared to the other films of the Candyman series. Unfortunately, the film does suffer from rather uneven writing and a questionable conception, and I really can't go into why without spoiling major elements of the plot. So skip to this part if you just want to hear my final verdict. First, and most important of all, despite what the trailers indicated, the film is not a remake, but is rather a sequel to the original film that retcons the other Candyman sequels in a manner similar to the 2018 Halloween. This is a significant problem because the film completely retcons the MO of Candyman in the original film, in which, despite his tragic backstory, he was obviously an evil spirit, in favor of creating a new mythos, which is primarily explained during the film's credits, where, apparently, there were several versions of Candyman, who all served as spirits of vengeance against violent racial injustice. This ultimately includes Anthony himself, who it turns out was the baby Candyman kidnapped in the original film. Such an approach really doesn't work well when you consider that Candyman did kill innocent people in the original film, including a kid who had little to nothing to do with racial injustice. This honestly makes it feel like there were creative differences during the making of the film between some who wanted to do a fresh take on Candyman with no connection to the original, which, in my honest opinion, would have been a better direction to go in, and others wanting it to be in the same continuity with it. This also leads to the issue of the film flat out disregarding the admittedly awesome ending of the first film, in which the Helen character in essence became a new Candyman after destroying him, and instead mainly refers to her as someone who investigated Candyman. Also, some of the kills feel very random, suggesting that they were probably the result of studio notes to increase the body count in the film. Finally, the last act of the film feels very rushed and without much setup, as well as being completely insane for no real reason, with a very abrupt ending. With all this in mind, I'd have to give Candyman a C+, as its stylish grittiness and attempts at originality are really undermined by its questionable writing and creative decisions overall. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. Also, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, and if you have any extra money that you're not sure what to do with, there is my Patreon, And my coffee. By the way, special thanks to Patreon supporter L'Oreal McNabb. Have a nice day.